guys, welcome to Crafting with the Crafty Chick. Thank you so much for coming to craft with me today. Our first project is going to be our Springtime Joy. So it could be perfect for spring or even in Easter. And it is a little treat holder, so you can untie the ribbon and put something in there. And so I'm going to show you how we're going to make this today. And we are using the Stampin' Springtime Joy stamp set, which is in our mini catalog. And it's this bunny rabbit and this little chick is what we're using, as well as these two flowers here. And those two flowers are on our wrap here. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I've already got my pieces stamped and working on fussy cutting these out now. And so just to help save some time, but we're ready to get started. Okay, so one of the first things I want to tell you is this was my first sample, and later I had the afterthought to emboss this part, and so I've gone ahead and done that in Rococo Rose, and this is using the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder, which is in our annual catalog. I'm going to bring that in just to show you really quick here. And this is on page 185 in our current annual catalog, and it's this embossing folder here. Okay, so, but I've already done most of my prep work, and so we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So I want to tell you, first of all, that basically our holder is 8 inches by 2, and this is in Rococo Rose, and then I have scored it from 3.5 on each end. So you score it 3.5 on one end, flip it over, and then score 3.5 on the other end. So you're going to have 2 score lines there. And it'll be hard to see with the embossing, but you'll see them come into place. So that is that one, and then we're going to, the first part we're going to do is the Scalloped Tag Topper Punch. You're going to slide this in, and whenever you use this, your width has to be 2 inches, because that is all that it can accommodate. And you're just going to slide this in all the way until you have resistance, and go ahead and punch. And then you have that tag topper. And so we're going to do the same thing on the other end. I'm going to go ahead and get that mess away. And just keep sliding it in until you can't slide it in anymore. And so now we have our tag topper. A great punch. Use this a lot for tags and even little things like this. I mean, it just works out great. Okay, so I've already got all of the stamping and stuff done ahead of time. This is our belly band for our holder, and this is in Blushing Bride. And this is 1.5 by 6.5, scored at 1 inch, 3 inch, 4 inches, and 6 1/16. And that is what creates our holder. So basically, your candy or whatever treat you put in here isn't going to fall out. Everything is all together. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to finish fussy cutting my little bunny rabbit and my little chick. Got most of it done already, but I know some of you will have to do some fussy cutting along with me if you're following along. And so most of our dies will leave a white border around our image. I am not doing that. I am cutting basically right along that outline. And I'll do the same thing with the little chick here. I love this little chick. That is a cute chick or what, huh? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting him out. A lot of fun coloring, especially with these little flowers. And a little tip that I used for the center of the 5-petal flowers is using the Stampin' Up's white chalk marker, which is currently in our annual catalog as well. We've had that for quite a long time, and I didn't want to do Wink of Stella or a solid color, and I just thought that pop of white really makes it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and finish cutting our little cheek here. Okay. You guys know me with my chickens. I love my chickens, and when I feed my chickens, that's my call, chick chick, and they come. They know I have a treat or food for them. Okay, so we have our fussy cutting done, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in dimensionals. We will need dimensionals and our mono glue to put together our project. Let me see, and the colors. So I'll go over the colors of what I use to Stampin' Blend, Stampin' Up, Stampin' Blend, and the leaf colors are the light granny apple green, and then the flowers are, let me see, light Flirty Flamingo, light Rococo Rose, light Seaside Spray, and dark purple Posy are the colors that I used for our flowers. I also did the same colors for the flowers for the bunny, as well as the granny apple green on the leaves. The bunny rabbit I stamped in Crumb Cake, and then I took my Stampin' Blends and just kind of shaded the bunny rabbit a little bit with the Crumb Cake and the color lifter. So I just kind of did some shading and then went back over it with my color lifter. I don't know if my camera can pick this up, but we'll see. Just to kind of help create some dimension there. And then for my little cheek, he is colored in Dark Mango Melody. Okay, so his main body part is colored with the dark Saffron, and his beak is colored with the Dark Mango Melody. Perfect color. Pumpkin Pie was just a little too orange. In real life, their beaks are not that orange. And the sentiment came from the Sentimental Stamp Set, which is in our current annual catalog as well. And so that's stamped in Rococo Rose. Okay, so I think we are ready to assemble. And you will need mini dimensionals and regular dimensionals if you have them, or one or the other depending what you have, and the mono glue. And we're going to go ahead. This project comes together pretty quick, so if you're using this for Easter, you can mass produce quite a few of these and have little table favors or little treats for your loved one. Really fun to make. Okay, so remember we have our score line at the bottom of our holder, and so basically you're going to line up the two top ends so that you can see your hole punch, and you're going to just lay that flat. This isn't going to come into play right now, but when we start going to put this on, we want to make sure that both of our bottoms are flat. Okay, and then foam holder if you have one. We're going to go ahead and make sure our score lines are nice and crisp. And then one more on the end. Okay, and you will need mono glue for this part. Okay, so I'm bringing our holder back in, and just, you can, probably what is easier, if you have like a little clip, a little binder clip, or, Stampin' Up had these really cute little gold binder clips a few years back. If you just have something to hold these two together, which also helps to keep the bottom of your treat holder flat, because that really is going to help you when you go to put this on. Okay, so now get our mono glue ready. So what we're going to do is, so your sides are pretty much going to be this side and this side. So this little tab on the end we are not going to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, so I know that both of my bottom sides are flat, because what can happen if you don't hold this into place is that you're going to have one that might be just a little taller than the other side, and then your holder is not going to sit right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this little tabbed end, just the skinny side, that is going to go on the side, and you're just going to hold it there. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of forming, and we're going to have to let this go when we start attaching this end to this piece, because this tab, this side, is going to need to attach to this side. So don't worry about that right just yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put mono glue on this piece. Remember, your little skinny tab is now going to be on your right hand side, but we're only going to glue this part right here, because that's going to be on the front of our holder. And once we get this part done, it makes the putting together the rest of it and adhering it so much easier. So now remember, we have that little tab, so I'm lining this score line in with the end of the front of my holder, and I'm doing the same thing with this score line. And you want to make sure you go all the way down to the end of your holder. And so now I'm going to take my binder clip off and lay this flat so I can really get that adhered well. And you want to be careful, because if this is embossed with the embossing folder, a lot of times that will weaken the fibers in your paper and just make your paper not as strong. So it is a little delicate, and you have to be gentle with it. Okay, I think that is good to go. And so now I'm coming in and I'm just making sure that that is flush with the bottom of my holder. And so I'm holding it in place, and I'm just making sure. So now what I'm doing is I have my finger on the underside of the back piece, and I'm holding that into place, so that allows me to gauge exactly where my placement is going to be, because you want end to end. And so now I'm going to just bring this back, and I'm going to put some glue on this bottom part. You want to be careful not to go over the top, because you don't want that to show. Okay. I'm just bringing that in, lining that up, and you can place it down flat on your desk or your work surface just to have that in place. And as you can see, I am taking my fingers, which helps to adhere this part to the holder. You want to get a good adhesion. And remember, you're going to have a side. You've created kind of a pocket so that nothing can fall out from that side. Okay, that part is done. Just making sure we're good to go here. Alright, and so basically what you're left with is you have this side piece and then that little side tab. We're going to put glue on this side tab, and then this one is going to fold over into place. So you're not going to even see this piece. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And remember, you don't want to push too much in, because you want this to be able to stand up on its own. And just hold that in place for a moment until it bonds. And these are really fun to make, pretty quick. You can make multiples in a very short amount of time. Even doing all your stamping, you can, while you're watching one of your favorite TV shows or a movie, you can do your stamping and your coloring and have that done, and your punching even. And then do your bunny rabbit and your chick. Okay, I think we're good to go. So now, all of our sides are now enclosed. Okay, and so you pick a front, whatever side looks good to you. I think I'm going to go with this as my front. And I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on my bunny rabbit and my little chick. Okay. So I'm taking a mini dimensional for my chick, and then my bunny rabbit ears up at the top. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with my regular dimensionals for my bunny rabbit. Here we go. Okay, so once you've determined the front of your box, you can stand it down just to make sure everything is lined up and straight so that it will stand on its own, which is what you want. You want it to be able to stand on its own. Okay, now I'm going to take my little bunny rabbit, and remember to leave room for your little chick. Kind of center him over there. I want that flower to show on that end. And the reason I didn't put a dimensional on this bottom part of the chick is because its feet kind of line up overlaps the rabbit, and so if you put a dimensional there where there's a dimensional under the rabbit, it really can create a double layer and it just offsets it so it doesn't look right. So now I peeled the dimensional backing off of my chick and put him right there. Okay, they're friends now. They're going to hang out. Alright. And then the next part we're going to do is take a mini dimensional to put on the back of our bow, right in the center here. And this bow is die cut from Purple Posy. Okay, peel the backing off of that one. There we go. So I'm going to close my top pieces together and put my bow on. And so you also have your sentiment piece, so you have to be mindful of, you don't want to cover up your words, but you want to determine how far out do you want this to stick out away from your project. And so I don't stick my bow down completely until I kind of have it lined up right where I want it. So I think, to me, that looks good right there. So now I'm going to just take this away. So I have one corner sticking onto that dimensional, but I'm going to come in with a little bit of mono glue and just glue this down to the holder so it really stays in place. Getting that adhered on. And one other thing I wanted to mention is I put the little tiny pearls on the flower centers of my bunny rabbit. I decided not to do that because they kind of get lost, and they're really small, and if you're giving this to a little one, you don't want them to get those pearls and put in their mouth. So that's why I opted to go with the Stampin' Up! Chalk marker to color the center of those flowers white. Okay, I think we're good to go on that. Okay, and this ribbon, I did not include this ribbon in your kit because I love this ribbon. It's the Pool Party sheer ribbon, but no matter what I do, angle cuts, I've even taken a lighter to it, it frays really bad, and I just thought, I don't like that, and see me holding that now, I just pulled that apart. But anyway, so I did not include this ribbon, and the other ribbons I had just really weren't going to work with this project, and I thought I would give you guys the option of, you can either use some pretty binder clip or a little clothespin or whatever, or even ribbon if you wanted to pick your own ribbon. But then that way it leaves it open so you can put your treats in here. Small little miniature candy bars, or Reese's cup, or, you know, there's all kinds of options. But box of Tic Tacs. And then if you wanted to, you could hold it closed with the ribbon. You just feed your ribbon through with a loop, and then you pull your ends out here. So what I did was I looped it through the hole So I doubled it, looped it through the hole, and then you just feed your tails through that loop, which creates that effect. Oh, this ribbon frays so bad. And now I'm going to pull those through, and what that does is it creates that loop, and that helps to keep it closed as well. Okay, so you have options. So there you go. There's our cute little treat holder. I definitely like the embossed one much better. It just seems to add to it. And this is Rococo Rose. As you guys know, our retiring colors, our ink colors are retiring, coming up here really soon. It's Rococo Rose and Seaside Spray, Purple Posy, and Pretty Peacock. Those are all going to be leaving us this year. And so I thought, well, I'm going to use these colors up while we can. They're really good colors for spring. So there is our project. Very fun. And I will have all of the measurements and stuff in down below. I would love it if you guys could let me know which you would prefer. If you would like it in the description or at the end of the video. So let me know what is your preference. And I thank you so much for crafting with me today. And we are on to the next project. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.